Hello, hello, Sanjay. Welcome here. We are really happy. I'm happy to see you.
I'm happy to be part of this journey. What I've been listening to you both. uh, Glad to be part of this journey, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Yeah, Sanjay. I will start with that. Obviously I know you because our sons play basketball together. So and they met in a school. They became friends, good friends. Then they played basketball together, and you know, if your child seems in other child a good friendship, it naturally brings to that state that their parents start to explore friendship as well, right?
Yes.
And I have to say, like my son brought to many great connections, with here, and he's like my bridge in this country to meet new people, because basically I'm like working from home. I don't see many people in general,
Yeah.
and then there is basketball and their parents and their friends. So you have to connect with their parents and have those meaningful conversations. And I have to say, I've really always enjoyed conversations with you about anything. We always have this laugh, deep conversation about anything, and we found it really great time during those breaks in between games and so on.
True.
Like, tell more. Obviously you came to USA like 6-7 years ago, right? And
Yeah.
how has it been going for you? Like, tell a little bit more.
Okay. So yeah, I'm the first generation from my family who has moved here in United States with my wife and one son. So just like what Agris is saying, I made the connections the same way what Agris is speaking about. Since I don't have any family members, no one, neither from my wife's side or from my side, who are here. So whatever contacts my son made, we made through to their parents, whether he goes to school or his taekwondo classes or his basketball classes or his guitar classes, we made friends there. Now I'm so glad to expand this family of three to maybe 200 people now. So every weekend, we have so many people to go to, meet them, learn from them, explore from different ethnicity, different regions, different cultures. It's beautiful so far to be here in United States. The opportunity which I got, plus the opportunity to meet different people with so many cultures and traditions. And food is the main reason I connect with them. So,
Mm.
yeah. So yeah, I'm loving it. My family is loving it. My son is loving it. Uh, yeah. So that's where we are.
So I have about 100 questions. Uh,
Go ahead.
so where did you come from and what brought you here?
So I came from India. So I was born and brought up in Mumbai, which is the commercial capital of India, where all the Bollywood or stock exchange and everything is there. Uh, I have been in the pharmaceutical industry for almost 17, 18 years. It was approximately 10 years ago, in 2011, 12, where I was traveling in and out of US quite frequently, where I was here for 6 months and then going back for a month and then coming back again. It was becoming too much to manage family, staying away from them and just traveling. Uh, that is when my company did great for me. They said, why don't you move here with your family? We'll take care of you. So that's the opportunity I got. And I moved here with the family in 2015. So since then, been here in the Orange County, California. loving the weather, loving the beaches, people, enjoying.
Yeah. Like we had those conversations about our childhood because I grew up in Latvia, you grew up in India,
Yeah.
Mark obviously grew up in USA, and definitely we had different approach or different way of seeing life, right? For me,
Yes.
at that time when I grew up as a child, there was still Soviet Union. And in a sense, I always remember that there wasn't ownership private territories at that time. So we could go whatever where we want, explore whatever we want.
Mhm.
We could get access to the rivers, to the lakes, everywhere from every place we wanted. I
Yeah.
remember that my childhood actually like yeah, we didn't have much wealth or something, but it was just like in a sense like a great freedom, to explore nature and just go around. How was it was to growing up in Mumbai, how it
Okay.
just it's interesting.
It is very interesting. So let me tell you, India is many countries in itself, where every 100 miles or 100 kilometers you go, there is a slight change in the language, slight change in culture, tradition, food, uh, spices, and all these things. And I come from Mumbai, where every people from different part of India come and for livelihood to earn their bread and butter. So it's a sort of a cosmopolitan metro city where my neighbors were from three different states. So on my floor, I had four apartments where um, we are there, and there are two others from southern part or other parts of India. So it was interesting growing up as well to meet all these people that you don't feel is this I mean, we were seeing the complete India in one place where different culture, language, different I have even seen people from other countries settling there, where we were fortunate enough to interact with them, be in college with them. So yeah, I mean, that's what has helped me when moving here and adjusting to different country. It was not foreign to me because that's how Mumbai people are born and brought up to work with different ethnicity and cultures.
Mark, how was your for you to grow up in USA?
Mm. It was not any of that. No, I mean, I grew up on Long Island in New York, and Agris and I kind of talked about this a little bit, but we were like, I was very much in a bubble, and I think the biggest adventure was going into New York City, where you got, a little splash of that, which was exciting. But no, it was very much like you had the idea that this is what the world was like, and even like to travel like, a half an hour, 45 minutes north or south, we just didn't do it. I mean, like we literally, we had everything that we needed, right in our little bubble. But I always had that, which I'm sure a lot of people do, but I always had that like curiosity of what else is out there, and it pushed me to explore a little bit more. I've never been to India. I definitely it's on my list of places to travel to one day. So maybe we'll hop a bus with you or something.
Definitely.
So obviously your family is still there. So do you go back there often?
Yeah, so we try to do it every year, but since the pandemic, last I have been there in 2019.
Hmm.
But since the pandemic started, we did not go there because of the obvious reasons, because of the travel restrictions. But yeah, we plan to go there soon. And I have my mom there, two elder brothers, a sister. We have a huge family there. And then my wife's side, she belongs to Delhi, which is the national political capital of India,
Hmm.
where uh, where she has her parents, brother, her sister is in Australia. So yeah, we are spread all across India and global.
Mm.
Yeah. Like how like I was like blown away when like obviously I already met people from India in Dubai when I had the opportunity to be in Dubai and live there for some gap like moment I would say to compare, you know, and I was blown away that how many languages there are in India. Like from broader perspective, you think, oh yeah, it's just probably one language, but then there are like so many, like hundreds, no
I
languages.
think so. I don't know the exact count, but it can go be above around 100. I mean, it's so many things. I've still not seen many things in India. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be in this pharmaceutical industry. When I started my job, I was traveling a lot. Like every Sunday to Sunday, I was going back home. So all week I was just traveling across India. And it taught me a lot, that travel. Because just like what you said, Mark, I was based in Mumbai, so I thought this is the world.
Uh-huh.
But then when I started traveling, oh, it taught me so much. I mean,
Mm.
uh, you meet with different people. Okay, this is way how they live, how they interpret certain things. So it taught me a lot how to put my statements or my sentences in a certain way so that it gets it reaches what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So it taught me a lot. But yeah, that has really given me the exposure of to travel and be curious about meeting other people, learn from them, and try to respect what they where they are coming from, and so that you will be able to connect with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about as we often talk about spirituality, right? So let's touch that base because I had with you great conversations about spirituality and like how do you look at this? You know, what's how you like obviously how you grew up learning these things as a child, as a grown up, and also how is in general in India about these things.
Yeah, I'll say I'm still learning spirituality. I mean, it's a bigger term, but I what I understand from spirituality is like knowing oneself, what inside you. Uh, there is no limit within yourself. I mean, you can explore the world or do anything you want to. You are your own limitation. You are your own beyond the sky thing. So, but when you were growing up in India, there is a cultural difference where you know you I think all the youngsters, we all were very aggressive, or you know, uh, in your teenage age, you try to achieve things or run behind materialistic things. I would say, like, I want a bigger car, okay, I want a bigger house. So that's how things start. But eventually, I think after a certain age, or the more you talk to yourself, you realize, is this what I was working for? But that's not making me happy, correct? I
Mm.
mean, there is something else. There has to be something else which gives tears in your eyes, like a happy tears, Go out early morning, walk in the nature, see the sun rising. I That gives more satisfaction than, okay, today I have bought a Mercedes, or today I have bought say Lamborghini, for example. I don't think so. Those people, those things matter anymore. So I'm moving away more from the materialistic things and diving within myself, talk to myself, evaluate what is the is my purpose. I mean, first of all, purpose, I don't know, but still trying to experience different things happening around me, whether it is what my son is doing. I'm seeing innocence in whatever he's doing. I'm enjoying that. I hope this innocence stays. That's what I love it. I'm seeing the way my wife is trying to achieve some things, putting in those effort. I'm loving it. I'm not diving into like what she will achieve eventually. No, she's enjoying certain process of her career or what business she's trying to start. I'm loving all these things. So I'm just trying to look around me and see spirituality everywhere, in everything around me. So yeah, that's where at this point I am. I'm still trying to explore myself, still learning, work in progress.
Well, that's pretty amazing though to have that realization, and I'd love to dive deeper into that with you. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I think it's funny. First of all, I remember being younger and hearing, I don't remember where, but like, oh, that person over there, had a midlife crisis,
True.
and like, it was just like a term that people threw around. I remember my neighbor that lived across the street got like a Porsche 911 Carrera, like pulled it up one day, and I'm just like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And then I remember people on the block being like, yeah, it's called a midlife crisis, and he'll get rid of that in like 6 months. Well,
Yeah.
sure enough, 10 months later, that thing was gone and he traded it for something else. But so I didn't really understand it. But I just knew it was a thing, and most people just kind of joked around about it. So now I'm in my mid 40s, and I realize, I've been on, I guess you would call it a spiritual path for the past 20 years, and I have like the impetus for the reason for that. It really was. I mean, maybe if the tragedy didn't happen, I would have been on this path anyway, but because it was like on the heels of a tragedy that I went through, it kind of steamrolled me into trying to understand spirituality and consciousness and what goes on beyond this universe and all that kind of stuff. But I think that you know what you were saying before, it reminds me of like, yeah, that's what we think is important. Like I remember being a kid and playing a game. It's not called life, but it was something like that, and you play against other people and just to get a house and a vacation house and a car and and you accumulate all these things, like similar to Monopoly, but it was a little bit
Mhm.
different. And you accumulate all these things, and I remember being a little kid and being like, okay, that's what I'm going to do when I get older. I'm going to make sure that I have the big tutor and the cars and the vacation home and blah 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 blah, because that was the toy we were given to play with, right? Not
True.
faulting anyone, I'm just saying. So that was the beginning of the thought process for me of all that, like, oh, I guess that's what you do. And so your goal eventually is to find a spouse, and then to find a house, and then to have a kid, and then to get rid of the kids, like there's always like this plan. But yeah, then one day you wake up and you go like, okay, I have the spouse, I have the house, I have the kids, I have all the things that I thought I was going for. Why don't I feel the way I expected to feel at this point?
Mhm.
Like I'm just trying to understand that. And then I also think you teeter back and forth, at least I have, with none of this stuff makes me happy. So I'm going to pursue more meaningful things in my life. And then, or maybe you're just not trying hard enough. Maybe what you really want is an even bigger house. Maybe what you really want is an even faster car. Maybe you need to put your kids in better schools,
Cool. Yeah.
and so, and that could, you could invest another 10 years into that process right there. So I'm curious, with you specifically, how did you get to that point where you realized, because I know what you're talking about. I know, like watching my son at his baseball games or watching my wife, just being an observer and just really getting to enjoy all that. So I'm curious, like, how did you get to that point? And how do you sustain it, I guess, because there's always these shiny things that are glittering all around us that like pull us in.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, all this started when I was very close to my dad. So when I lost him, he died due to cancer. Uh, that is when So it's like a journey, correct? I mean, to overcome with that trauma, I was uh, submitting myself towards the work. So I talked to my friend and my boss, who was my boss, and he's a very good friend of mine, saying, please make me so busy that I don't have to think about anything. And maybe that was the time. And actually, that's what happened for next 5 years. I was so busy in traveling and submerged myself into work. I did not think about anything else. But after 5 years, when I changed a company or I did some change, I saw some slowness in my life, which made me think and evaluate myself what I am doing, why I am running away from the memories of my dad, correct? I mean,
Mm.
if I was so close to him, I mean, maybe that was written for him. I mean, that fantastic life he had, where he was successful without running behind any materialistic things. I started thinking about how he perceived life and the times I enjoyed with him. So that made me change my lifestyle. I started waking up early again because when he was there, I used to wake up early in the morning, go for a run or a walk. And he used to like me seeing going out and walking in the nature. So maybe that is what he was trying to teach me. So I started connecting him to those things around me and looking for the signs, what he was trying to tell me. I think somewhere he is always there with me. So he was giving me signs. Okay, this is where I'm soothing, or I'm getting a nirvana, or I'm getting that feeling. Okay, this is where I need to stop and look at it for a while. So those things slowly started bringing changes in me. And at this point, and when my son was born, that brought another change where I can see myself in him and see what a beautiful thing I've created. Correct? I
Mm.
mean, this is what I have to be with as long as I can. I mean, let me enjoy with him because my dad did not get time to spend with me because he was a business person. So 24 into 7, he was working. And I can see in his eyes that he wanted to spend more time with me from with three of us, but he could not. So that is where I think these things will come and go, like money, car, and all these things. But eventually, the most precious thing God or the universe has given to you is the family. So stay in touch, do whatever you could, and touch wood, as of today, universe has given me good enough things so I am able to help people who are coming to me with for help. So I'm fortunate enough to be in that position. That's what I need at this point. So I think these are the things. It has changed me a lot through this journey. I'm still trying to. At some point, I do see some triggers, or still I think, oh, we could have done this better. But then I go back and maybe this is my 100% and this is the best for me.
Mm.
Sometimes I go into comparison, but that is when I again talk to myself. When we compare, yes, things are always less than, say, billionaires or whatever it is. But what you look at yourself, where you were and where you are, this is the best at this point. Going next, of course, you improve day by day, hour by hour. So tomorrow my best will be different, but I'm not pushing for it. I'm just enjoying life so that when it comes to me, I can enjoy it. Just
Man, like such a beautiful way of putting things down, in the pipeline,
yeah,
like because this our life path is like a pipeline,
true.
you cannot escape from that pipeline, run out, into different pipeline. You just have to enjoy whatever it comes from that pipeline in front of you. Just
But eventually we are humans. I mean, there will be distractions, but again, all what you have done so far will make sure that you come to the right path. So I believe in whatever upbringing we have. So there is someone who is showing you the way. Universe is throwing you multiple options. Just trust what you have been, what your upbringing is. It will help you make the right choices.
I like how you put that in perspective, that how you learn from your father.
Yeah.
And actually you took the best learnings after he passed, right? Not
Yes.
like, probably you already took it during your childhood and everything, just by perceiving things,
Yeah.
not really maybe teaching like verbally, but really just now you going back, and when you reflect, you're like, oh wow, this is actually what I was being taught,
Yes.
and even I understood that your father was like really working a lot, so you didn't had much time with him,
Yeah.
but you could see in his eyes how much he loves you,
Yeah.
and how much he wants you to actually to escape from that craziness of work and
Correct.
spend more meaningful time with your family. So it's really remarkable how it can be, that teaching can perceived. I really love this way how you put it down. Yeah.
Yeah, lately I've been looking at our family as sort of, like we're not separate from our parents and our children are not separate from us, that we're all just sort of a continuous string, like we're all part of the same sort of evolutionary being. I know that sounds weird, but what I mean is that our parents went through certain things, right? Like they had certain things that they needed to face. And they did whatever they could, to your point before, you do the best you can with the road that you're given. So they did the best they could. Um, and then they sort of pass the baton on to us,
Mhm.
and then we do the best that we can, and then we pass the baton, to our children. And a lot lately I've been thinking how we're not really separate. Like maybe we're just like, like let's just imagine that there's this soul or whatever. This is not the way that it is, but my mind always has to make, to try to understand it from a metaphorical point, but like a soul comes in and it wants to learn whatever, like a certain pattern of things. And so it needs to enter into our parents, and then it enters into us, and then it enters
Mhm.
into our children, right? So there's like, it could never, it would take all three generations, if
Mhm.
not more, right? Like in order for us to really get from one place to another. So it's interesting. But one of the things that you said that really stuck out to me was that when your father passed away, that's a tragedy. It obviously makes you think of, okay, here's somebody that I loved and had a really, good relationship with, and they're not here any longer. So where are they? So, and can I continue that relationship? And I've seen some people just fall into, a grief state, and which is normal, but then it's hard to come out of it because they can't get past the point of this person is no longer physically here with me. So every birthday, every holiday, everything you used to do with that person, now they're not there, and it becomes like almost like a moment of sadness or something, a reminder that this person is no longer here. And I love that you said that you looked for opportunities to connect with him through the things that he loved.
Mhm.
And I've had that similar, like that sort of similar approach with my own mom, because she passed away a few years ago, and she was like a total sports fanatic. Like she was obsessed with all sports, like to the point where it would just drive me insane. Like she'd have multiple TVs going on, screaming at all the sports and blah blah blah. And I was like, I had no interest in it whatsoever. I was just like, nope, I want to go over here, I want to go over there. I just thought sports were just a waste of time. I had no interest in it.
Mhm.
And now, fast forward to where I am today, and my son is obsessed with baseball, right? Just like your boys are probably obsessed with basketball and
Mhm.
taekwondo and other stuff like that. he does not want to miss a game. So he's like, I have to watch every single game, and he wants me to watch the game with him. So in the beginning, I was like, no. That's not how this works. Like, you do what you do, I'll do what I do. But because I've been practicing mindfulness lately and practicing like these conversations have been about trying to slow down, take pauses, right, Agris, and try to like just moment by moment appreciate what's around us. And so I'm training my mind to do that. And I'm realizing like sitting on the couch watching a 3-hour baseball game with my son is an extended like pause, you know? So it's like he's making me sit on that couch. Well, it didn't take him long, but in the beginning it was like he was making me, and I'm like, I get stir crazy. So I'm like, okay, all right, I did an hour. Like now I gotta go mow the lawn, or now I gotta go do this. He's like, no, you gotta sit here until the game is over, you know? Like that's why I love you sitting here on the couch. And so I realized, well, okay, this is me watching the game with him is an extension of me trying to pause and take in, and I don't need to mow the freaking lawn, and I don't need to go and do this, and I don't need to, you know, I can just be here right now with him and watch this game. And the other day, I had this thought. I said to him, you know, Moma, that's what he called my mom before she passed. She would have loved sitting on this couch with you, you know? And then that sort of like became, well, maybe she is a part of this. You know what I mean? Like she's not sitting on the couch with us, but she's a part of this. Like now I'm starting to see what she loved about sports. And so I'm connecting to a part of her and connecting to a part of him. And you're right. I don't need to go very far. I don't
Yeah.
need to spend a lot of money. I think we spend like $20 a month on the Yankees network or whatever we're, but that's it. And he's like, when we go to New York, I want to go to a Yankees game, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, we'll do that. That'll be awesome. But even just this is awesome, you
Yeah.
know? And you guys know, because you guys do the basketball tournaments on the weekends. And I don't know what your thought process was in the beginning, but I remember thinking, oh God, we have 4 kids. They're all athletic. Like our life is just going to be sports all the time. Like it's going to be dreadful. We're not going to have any time for ourselves. And now I realize that this is awesome. Like we wake up 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and you know, we stop and get breakfast on the way to the baseball field, and we sit there and watch a 3-hour game. I can't think of a better place I'd rather be.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And that is spirituality. Like that, I
Yes.
love that you weaved that in it, because that's what Agris and I are always trying to get to. It's not a separate thing. It's how you integrate it into your life. So
So
great
this
point.
makes me more believe that she's watching from up there somewhere.
Mhm.
She wants you to do this
Yeah,
so that she's being part in, I mean, she's playing a part in this so that
right.
she's also enjoying the sports and making you enjoy the sports and connecting the kids, 3 generations together.
You're right.
Mark, do you want to learn about real patient sports? You know, when I found out about cricket, and Sanjay played cricket
Yeah.
in India, and actually I think cricket is the most popular sport in India.
Sport in India. Yeah.
You know that
Uh-huh.
original cricket games, maybe Sanjay, you can
Yeah.
tell, maybe I will lie. It's like what, 24 hours or maybe
Yeah.
3 days?
No,
Can you
so
imagine?
no, 5 days.
Oh
So
my
the
God.
original format of cricket is 5 days, which teaches you patience and resilience
Mm,
to bat for long hours so that your opponent is totally out of the game. So you have 5 days where you can draw the match or win or lose. Only 3 options. But it's a great game to watch. I mean, I have been watching it since childhood. I've played that, so I love it. But that's where, I mean, that's what I consider myself. I'm a test match player where we call 5 days match as a test match, which tests you and your patience and your resilience, how strong you can be. So I love that part of the game. I mean, there are other formats which has come up with cricket, which is like a shorter formats, which is much more popular in youngsters and even like even in my age, who can just spare 3 hours a day and watch the game. It's like boom, 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 and the match is over. They get the result. Yeah, but I love the longer format, which gives you more opportunity to learn about a player or what kind of metal he is.
Mm,
And you were complaining about 3 hours, Mark.
I know.
That's the shortest version of cricket itself. It's like for Sanjay, probably it's like, it's so fast. It's not interesting, right? Just 3 hours of the game,
Yeah.
right? Like to put things in perspective. And I really see this actually pattern wiring into our lives right now. We used to take time for all the things in the past more. We enjoyed more like those long probably hours because I don't know, probably we enjoyed what we are doing more than these days. I'm just talking about in general what I observe in seeing all social media, even TikTok or whatever. It's all about get it done and move on. It's
Yeah.
just like so fast paced without even pausing, right? And I think it's so important, and we actually already mentioned so many times in here how important it is to know how to pause, how to breathe in, how to observe things in front of you,
Yeah.
and enjoy those things, because otherwise you wake up old, right? Super old, probably wake up, see, not really seeing how your child's grow up, like being all the time busy in something and always wired in the future just to
Yes.
get things done, forgetting about present moment.
True.
And I think there is like a couple of days ago for me was that's the part of about we always debate what was the first, the egg or chicken, or the seed or fruit, and for me it was like that realization that seed and fruit, they never been separate. They exist because of each other,
Hmm.
right? And it's the same, like past and future exist only because of present moment, because that's the only place where we can perceive it, and and that's our choice to do it.
Mhm.
True. True. We ignore our present to make our future, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, you're right. And actually, to tie that into what I was saying before about the three generations, like that's us. We are the present moment,
Yes.
and we have to practice, not being angry at how our parents did certain things and holding them in contempt or having any type of regret. And also with our children, worrying about their future. Am I saving enough money for them? Or are they making the right choices so that they can be happy and healthy? Like we are the present moment in that. So, but I really think it's a practice. I don't know what you guys think, but for me, it's like if I can be present and I can stay there, it's a moment by moment thing. Obviously, I can't carry it the whole day. Then I'm in pretty good shape. But it's
Yep.
easy for me to get distracted, and so, but now I'm becoming aware of, okay, well, I see how I kind of got off track with that, and the thing is, to your point, Agris, with social media and stuff, like lately, I've been realizing, I think it's probably on Instagram or something, but like it used to be I would watch a YouTube video, like a 20-minute like interview, let's just say, and now they put shorts
Yeah.
on Instagram, and I realize I'm only watching like 3 minutes of a video and then it goes to the next one. And I never click on it to get to the full one to actually get the whole story, like, or the whole
Yes.
conversation. And then you just go to the next one, and then you just go to the next one, and then you just go to the next one, and you realize, like, so anyway, I've been paying attention to or trying to notice what I'm noticing. And I realized, you know what? I think I just watched like 24-minute conversations and got nothing from any of it. So maybe that contributed to my sort of scatteredness, like that feeling of not being in the present moment, not enjoying one thing at a time, just jumping from thing to thing. And actually last night my daughter came to me, she's 13 years old, and she's like, how do you concentrate? Like, I'm really trying to concentrate right now. And I was like, well, first of all, you're tired. Second of all, you watch too many reels. She's like, I didn't ask for a lecture. I just need to know right now, how do I concentrate? I'm like, well, see, that's the problem. I'm like, it's too late. You're sleep deprived. Your brain's not working the way you need it to work. And you watch too much stimulation, like those stimulating videos all day. But anyway, so I see how it shows up in my life, and also my kids too. Curious what you guys think about that.
I think I agree. Every moment there are different things thrown at you, especially when you log in your phone, you'll see multiple text, multiple alerts, this news, that news. Yeah, I mean, but go through it, but also take a break when you go to the next task,
Hmm.
so that clear your mind. Take a moment, maybe 5 minutes. For some people it will be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, but clear it off. Because otherwise, when you talk to your other, for friend, wife, kids, you'll see that energy going and transferring to them as well. Like, I'll be irritated while talking to him, saying, okay, just finish this work and go and sleep.
Hmm.
But if you give a moment and leave everything else, take a break, then talk to them, you'll see some pauseness and calmness, so that even they will go to sleep happily, and it will it will be better for all of you. Peace.
So I'm curious how you came to that, because Agris has recently brought the human design, the gene keys stuff to me, and this is what they teach. So did you, like, how did you get to that?
Okay, I can tell you about that. So I worked in the industry where it is so much data driven, that we analyze too much data. We have so many meetings. Between every meeting, I needed some break to keep my brain calm and analyze what we had just discussed, so it can make sense in my mind, and I can see, as per my experience, what my next step should be. So some people will tell me that I'm slow, but no, this is how my mind works. I need to analyze what I just discussed. I need time to process it so I can plan my next steps. So that's how I came to this conclusion, that between all these lengthy conversation, you need certain breaks. Even in school, if you see, look at the example, kids can maximum have their attention for 40, 35, 40 minutes approx,
Hmm.
and then they give a break, and then the next class is. So that's how we all are designed. So we need certain break to move to another topic. Forget about people. Just reading two different books, you will realize, reading the second book back to back, you're still thinking about the first story. Why did
Hmm.
why did he do that? So if you don't take that break, you will not it's just you're just reading it. You're not uh, grasping anything from it. So that's how I came to that conclusion. And I'm very bad at reading books or listening to motivational speakers. I don't do that. I just listen to these such podcasts, or uh, go by the quotes written around me. So that's how I learn, by my own mistakes.
Yeah. I think you like, in that professional language, what we just spoke is contemplation, right?
Hmm.
It's that's what it is, it's just the state of wondering about. And another day, I used to get those messages, instant messages
Yeah.
from within. And then another day, actually, it came in my dream, and I woke up and wrote it down. Usually I don't do it, but that message was like, I can I don't have my, can you imagine? I even forgot, but the message was like that that state of wondering is the path to the oneness, because you just get within in that wandering state, which is contemplation,
Yeah.
and I resonate with a lot what you said. Sometimes you read the book and you just realize, oh wow, actually I just reading it without grasping anything what is written there, because I'm still wondering for that previous sentence.
Correct.
And you're like just running through the next sentences and don't even pay attention to them because you are still in that state of wondering.
True.
So why don't you pause and just wonder about that instead, just running through those next things? And I think that's really something what everyone should master. It's there's different ways of contemplate. For example, when you go in nature, you see each tree as a miracle or stopping point where you have to breathe and stop and appreciate its wonderness. You know, it's like you can put those things in perspective for yourself, just to think about those things while you can just like, okay, I'm going for a walk, and you just concentrate only walk and you don't care about anything because you have to get your 10,000 steps. That's all you care about, right? And you just forget about everything else. And then you come back and you're like, okay, that's done. Let's read the book. I have to read at least 2 hours a day. And you just, and I've seen this, you know, I've seen so many achievers on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, you know, like, and they just keep achieving things, achieve. And then you ask, what did you learn? Like, oh, well, like I can put on Twitter that I do it every day, so I'm amazing. Like, okay, good. You know, but where is the pause? Where is that realization? Where is this wonderness in the middle? Like running through and be that somebody who achieves everything. Probably that's as well is accomplishment. So I don't know. It just, maybe that's not for me, but it's interesting how could go in perspective those things.
Yeah, and Sanjay, I love that you bring this into the conversation because um, I'm the one that is reading 2 books at the same time. I'm the one that's having multiple conversations at the same time. I even surprise myself at how, like, I'm thinking about something and then somebody was talking to me while I was thinking about it. I have no idea what they said. And then, but then at some point it's somewhere and I'm able to go, oh yeah, you asked me about blah, blah, blah. Oh, I didn't know you were paying attention. I wasn't at the time, but it was right there waiting for me. So when I finished my thought process, I was able to access it. And here's your answer. I don't look at that like it's an accomplishment. It's just sort of what I've done to myself over the years. What I love that you bringing into this is that you're saying, I didn't read this in books. You know, this is me adapting to life. And so what you prove to us when you say that is that that's the way that we're wired. And we know that by looking at nature. You know, like if you look at, you know, birds, if you look at animals in nature, they're always taking a pause, right? Like they naturally stop at some point, take in what's going on around them, process it, and then move on, right? But we're in this culture now where it's like it's 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 like a luxury if we take that pause, right? Or it's looked at like it's some like it's what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's a fault, like you know, like that it's a weakness if you need to slow down. It's funny because my wife is a lot like you in the sense that she is like what it takes me to calm down in an hour of meditation, that's like her natural baseline, right? Um, and people at work she works in a high stress environment at the hospital, and people used to ask her if she was medicated, and it was like, no, that's just always been her personality. But she's perfect for me to be around because I'm like 100 miles an hour, and she's just like, huh, did you say something? You know, like just naturally calm. But I think that's also a lot for me was my childhood. You know, like I grew up in a household where it was like super chaotic all the time, and I was just trying to keep up with it, you know. And then that sort of spilled into my adulthood. But now I'm realizing the importance of all this. And I love that you said that you figured this out on your own, like no one told you. And I feel like, Agris, isn't that what we're talking about all the time lately, is that all of the answers are within us. Like every single time we have a problem, that answer is somewhere inside of us, and all it takes is for us to just slow down and just process what's going on around us, and we'll always know. And and it I just love that you said that, like, you realize, well, that's what I need to do. And so now it makes sense that Agris loves you because I'm sure you guys have amazing conversations because it's
Amazing.
yeah, because that's what it's all about. Like it's not small talk, it's like noticing what's going on in the world, like being aware of everything. And once you get to that level, I feel like you're able to appreciate life more. And I see you both smiling. So I know we have to put this on YouTube at one point because you'll see that the two of you guys are smiling the entire time because that's that's the result of living that kind of a
Mhm.
lifestyle, slowing down, being in the now, being more present, being aware and wondering, and wondering and processing all that. So this is great conversation for me and great reminder. And I'm telling you, I'm reading the books about it and this is what they're teaching. And I'm realizing you don't really need the books. You just need to slow down and go within and just chill out a little bit and things will just sort of work itself out.
And give yourself more importance.
Mm.
Oh, it was so easy to say, right? Give yourself more importance.
Yes. Be
True.
selfish at times. Love yourself.
Yeah, amazing. Man, before we end this beautiful conversation, because time is going to the end, Sanjay, tell what is the three most precious things for yourself in this life?
Oh, very tough question.
Mhm.
Only three? There are many around us.
And don't get this wrong. Just kidding.
I know. I don't know. I don't have answer for this. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, the first is myself and my family. I mean, and my friends. I think that's what is my day in and day out going into. I mean, those are the people with whom I'm exchanging my energy, whether through phone, personally meeting, or anything. I think those are the three things. I mean, at this
Listen,
point, that's my honest answer.
and actually you just said it, those three things,
Yes, I
right?
know.
You said, and the funny part is that what what was the message I received from that was that yourself, family, and friends,
Yes.
right? And and that's the most precious things. And you said, oh, whatever, how I connect, phone, whatever those things, actually those are just tools, money, phone, cars, whatever we use to connect,
Yeah.
that's just tools. But we always can connect with those two without those tools as well, because
Correct.
those are not most precious things in our life. And actually you just gave the really big wisdom, I think, to how to perceive things.
Hmm.
Because many people, and we are coming back to those material things, many people, they like, oh, most precious things, big house, big car, the latest phone, whatever, whatever is driving their life. But they would realize at the end that those were just tools to
True.
get in touch with most precious things, which I didn't appreciate going through my life.
Yes.
Yeah, they come and go, right? But they, one thing I wanted to also harp on too, because you said it kind of really quick, but it stuck out to me was you have to be a little bit selfish and you have to love yourself. And so I know we're wrapping up, but I don't want to leave without kind of diving a little bit deeper into that because, you know, it's too important to glaze over. I think that like how does someone like you get to a point where you realize that self-love is even a thing that you should be investing in, let alone mentioning it as one of the most important things that you need to be, happy and fulfilled.
Yeah. So this is how I learned about this. So There was certain time where I was not keeping well. I was not able to help others around me. So that is when I realized in order to help others or be available for your loved ones, you need to be capable of being helpful, correct? I mean, in order to help, you need to be capable of helping others. So I just see it as a different way how millionaires they become millionaires so that they can help others.
Mm,
So universe is giving them all these things to share energies or share resources. That's how I feel. In order for me to be available for my loved ones, I need to be capable of being that way. So I need to look after myself first so that I'm mentally and physically be there with them. Of course, anything can happen in life, but I should not be at the end blaming myself. I should have taken care of myself to stay long with my son.
mm,
It's me, correct, who has to drive that decision. So that's how I learned about it. So I was having a huge, like, constant backache for almost 7, 8 years.
mhm.
And after that break, I changed my lifestyle, going to the gym, picking up weights. I'm back to my normal self. Of course, not my 18 years old, but at least what I'm supposed to be best of at my stage now.
Mhm.
I'm best of myself. That's what I believe in.
Great.
The belief is that a very important part that you
Yeah.
believe in that, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's important because if you wouldn't believe, you would just chase some
Yes.
state of
Yes.
well-being
Mhm.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy how we're willing to sacrifice our bodies, our health, our mental well-being for some goal, you know, and then we realize like nothing that we could choose is worth that.
Yeah.
But we have to
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
pivot, right? I
Because
haven't even got to that part yet, Agris, and I'm already quoting it.
yeah.
But yeah, we have to. We have to.
Because just imagine, I mean, even a doctor will take a healthy donor of any organs for to donate, correct? They will not take a unhealthy organ. It's
Mm,
similar to that. I mean, it's your body.
right.
Yeah, and it has to come out of love, not for love.
Correct.
Mhm. Right.
Perfect,
Cool.
perfect
Yeah,
place
man. Thank
to.
you so much. Wow. This has been incredibly insightful and so glad you made time for us to come and join this conversation because it was a great one.
Thank you for making me part of this. Thank you, Agris. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, thank you, Sanjay.
Okay.